This week I built a short knee-high wall to separate my beer garden patio from a small grass patch behind it. I used to have gardenias along this barrier, but they grew out of control. They were about this tall. So they got to the point where they were too high, and I like to see over the barrier here. So I decided to cut them back. And after I cut them back, I said I didn't want them here anymore. So I decided to go with the small wall, but I did leave two of them to bookend this short wall here. Now all the 6x6 material that I have used on this wall and over on this gate frame here are cuts from deck projects that we've been doing throughout the year. So I saved the cuts, and the shorter ones I used for the wall, the longer ones I used to make the frame for this gate. Now I've got a video on when I made this gate frame, and I put it up a few weeks ago, and I think it'd be worthwhile to go back and watch it. Now I got the idea to use these 6x6s like this for this wall from a channel called Moxie Gardens. Now the Moxie Gardens channel has a lot of great features in the garden, and he has a lot of great ideas, and I took this one from him and I used it for my own, and I'm very happy with it. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. Now I'm going to show you how I made this wall and why I did it this way, and I hope you'll enjoy the video. And if you do, please give it a like and a comment. It always helps. Now let's get on with the video. I wanted to get all the 6x6 cuts staged in the patio so I could see what I had to work with. I decided to use the two longer cuts to extend the gate frame and continue to step it down towards the area where I'm going to make the short border wall. I cleaned out the base of the gate frame where I wanted to set the post. I wanted to set the post at the height where there was already a notch cut. This made the saw work a lot easier. With the post cut to length, I set it in place, and then a couple of taps with another cut to align it perfectly. Then I secured it with two 8-inch headlock deck screws. I cut the bevel on the outside corner of the top of the post to match the existing posts. Now one more post to go to complete the gate frame. Here's a look at the completed gate frame and the border area where I'm about to make the short barrier wall. I had to dig out two of the gardenias. They don't root that deep, so this was pretty quick work. Then I had to do some light excavation to stand the 6x6 cuts for the barrier. Now for the tricky part. I didn't have a plan for the layout of the 6x6 cuts. I thought it was going to be really simple, and I was thinking I would just put them in there randomly and they would stack up and look fine. But I didn't like the sawtooth look once I completed it. So I arranged them and rearranged them several times before I was pleased with the way they were set. This ended up taking longer than I thought it would, but it was worth the effort to get them to look the way I wanted. Now since I'm not setting these cuts in the ground with concrete, I needed to brace them in place to keep them from shifting. So I clamped two 2x4s along the length of the wall on either side to secure them temporarily. A few hits with the sledgehammer on each end and I tightened up the pattern. I added some paver base I had left over from another job. This material will fill in any voids under the cuts. I had just a little leveling and tamping to get the whole piece plumb. Then I packed in some soil as well to tighten up the whole piece. I tamped the soil tightly for added strength. I used the sledgehammer again for fine-tuning the alignment of the cuts. To permanently hold the cuts together tightly and in alignment, I used 1-inch steel flats. These are 1/8 inch thick, so they're very strong. I drilled holes in the steel so I could drive a deck screw for each 6x6 cut. I added 1 steel flat to each side of the barrier. Now the 6x6 cuts are banded together as one solid piece. With this setup, I can take the whole barrier out as one piece if I want to use it elsewhere in the yard. Here's a look at the short wall barrier completed and an overview with the gate frame included in the view. All I have left to do is clean up and plant the gardenia. If you made it this far into the video and you enjoyed it, please give it a like and drop a comment. And if you want to see more of my backyard garden progress, please subscribe. Here's the completed project after cleanup and a little bit of rain. I really like the way it turned out. I now have this area prepared for the fall months, which are some of the nicest of the year down here in the Atlanta area.